So 10.5, I'm trying to get this to go away. There we go. 10.5 is buying a house with a mortgage. I've got about 3 things that we need to like define, and then after that I have about 3 examples. Okay. I noticed on the homework there was only 6 problems, so I went in wanting to add more, and when I saw all the other problems, they kind of go down a rabbit hole. Why do I keep on saying rabbit hole? Like a rabbit hole, and they start explaining a whole bunch of things that I really don't think y'all need to know for this class. So I kept it at 6 problems, okay? Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna define is homeowner's mortgage. Okay, so the homeowner's mortgage is a long-term loan with property pledged, very weird word to me, pledged as security So it's a long-term loan with property pledged as security, okay, for payment. And I wrote everything, y'all. That way on the homework, like, there's no question what the answer is, okay? So our homeowner's mortgage is a long-term loan with the property pledged as security for payment. Of the difference between the down payment and sale price. So there's a home I want to buy, there's a selling price. 9 times out of 10, you have to have some type of down payment. I think there's a chip in my tooth. So 9 times out of 10, obviously, you're gonna need some kind of down payment. And then that home that you're gonna start making monthly mortgage payments on is being pledged or like kind of given up as almost a collateral. If I don't make my monthly mortgage payment, you're gonna take my house. Okay, that's kind of what that says right there. Okay, so we have that. Banks will have to look at how much money you make just to kind of see if you even have the ability to pay for a home, right? They actually take oh my gosh, it's probably one of the longest processes in your whole entire life to get a home. It really is. We just did ours, and they basically want every single thing you could imagine. A really important thing that they look at is your adjusted monthly income. Right, so you have like your gross monthly income and you have your adjusted. The gross is like everything overall before you take anything out or do anything with that amount. And then the adjusted monthly income, what they do is they use, so it's gross monthly minus any fixed monthly payments. So your gross monthly income is like, you make $1,000 a week. So what you would end up having for a gross would be $4,000 a month. But they're not going to use that like raw amount of money. They're going to take out all these payments for your Netflix, for your phone bill, for your water bill, for all these payments that you have to make. And they're going to say, okay, so after you take out all that money, you really only have about $500 left. And you probably wouldn't qualify for the home. So, they're going to take out anything that you make payments on, and that will be your adjusted monthly income. Okay, and the last one. So, a down payment. I feel like a down payment is kind of self-explanatory, but it is important to note some things. Okay, so the down payment is a percentage of, which is, math word, of and a per. Of is multiply, per means divide. So it's a percentage of the selling price that is paid up front, just meaning, initially, first. And then this is the little note. Okay, the down payment, right? It's not included in mortgage. Your mortgage, I never know if I'm spelling mortgage right. Your mortgage is an amount of money that you're going to pay the bank certain installments on, right? Certain monthly payments. So if we need a homeowner's mortgage and there's a selling price for a home and I give you a down payment, that down payment comes off of what that house cost. Okay, I don't then turn around and then, include the down payment in what I start making payments on, because then it's kind of like you paid it twice. So just make sure it makes sense that you do not include your down payment in the amount mortgaged. They might also say like amount financed. It's the same thing. Okay, take that down payment out. Okay, so I've got a little table here. We're gonna do 3 little examples of just finding the down payment of something. So I have examples. Okay, our first example is determine down payment. So we're gonna do selling price, percent of down payment, amount of, y'all might be able to actually write it, but I kind of ran out of room. It's AMT, amount of the DP is down payment. Okay, so we have a selling price, the percent of the down payment, and then the amount of the down payment. So what we're trying to do is just figure out this last column over here. We're going to do like an ABC example, and our goal is to get this answered. On the test, I think I have 2 problems where I create a little table, and it should be pretty obvious. Like wherever it's blank, that's what it's asking you to find. So here, I'm asking for the amount of the down payment. It might ask you for the interest or the principal or the time, but I just wanted it to kind of look like what we do in class. Okay, so let's say we have a selling price for this home. It is $249,000. And the percent of down payment that the bank requires from me is 15%. Okay. Now, do you remember I told you that the down payment was a percentage of, and of in math means multiply. I need to figure out what is 15% of 249,000. Okay, so the first thing I would do is I would turn this 15% into a decimal. Remember the way we did that? Just put 15 in your calculator and then divide by 100, and you get 0.15. So we have 0.15. That's what I use in my calculator. Oh, that's real. Like, I don't think you're gonna be able to write that. I mean, see that. Let me swish colors. No, it just looks like I wrote again in purple. They look different, don't they? Almost not. Okay, so 0.15. So 15% of 249,000 is going to be 0.15 of, which is multiply 249,000. Enter. I get 37,350. Okay. I want to buy this house. I'm going to make monthly mortgage payments on this house. But initially, first, up front, the bank says, give me 15% of the selling price. So what it's saying is I was going to do that all the time. What it's saying is that I need to already have in the bank $37,350. Now, once I give them that amount, remember the mortgage up here? The difference, right? Take out that down payment, I start making monthly payments on that difference. That's my mortgage amount. And we're going to do that in a second. But right now, all we're doing is just finding the down payment. Turn it into a decimal, multiply them. That's it. Okay. Let's do this pink one. Okay, say I want a house that's a little bit nicer. It is in the $300,000 range. It's actually $335,575. $335,575. All right, so it costs a little bit more. And the bank says they want 23% down. 23%, like converted into a decimal, would be 0.23. That's actually what I put in my calculator. Do little arrows, like 50% change to this, 23% change to 0.23. You get your calculator and you do 335,575. You can just do times, or you can open up your parentheses. It really doesn't matter. 0.23. When you hit enter, it tells you that you have to come up with $77,182 and a quarter and 25 cents, which is a lot of money, but that's also a lot of house if it costs that much. And the more you can put down, the less you end up having to finance, which ultimately lowers your monthly payment, right? But that could take years to kind of save almost $100,000. Okay, sorry, there's something in my eye. Okay. Okay. There's a home for sale for $197,000. And the bank only requires me to put down 6%. I was like, that price is lower and that down payment's lower. Right? Probably gonna be a little bit easier to come up with this amount of money for my down payment than the other ones. And this 6% changes to 0.06, right? You can just do 6 divided by 100 if you needed to figure that out. Here we go, 0.06. Okay, so now what we do is the 197,000 times 0.06 equal. You should get 11,820. Okay, so 11,820. Big difference, especially comparing like C to B. So that's how you figure out your down payment, is you're just going to multiply the percent of the down payment that they require or that they're asking for by turning it into a decimal. It's 15% of means multiply. So multiply these two together, and then whatever your calculator says, that's your down payment. You don't have to do any other math, just that right there. Everybody good? Yeah? So 15% of 249,000 is 37,350. And then 23% of this very large amount is 77,182 and a quarter. And then unless it says anything else, we're dealing with money. You always round to the hundreds place. Okay. Okay, y'all. So let's do the second example. This one I really try to write like each little individual step on how to use this table that you'll find on the back of the review. Third problem, I'm going to show you the formula and then do the table again. The table is a lot simpler and it takes way less steps. But, if you make one little mistake, it could be wrong. If you don't really trust your answer using the table, you could throw it into the formula, like kind of use it as a backup. Or you could be like me and you could like formulas and you could just throw it in there to begin with. Well, let's break down really how to use this table right here. Okay, in the second example, it says determine the monthly principal and interest payment. Kind of annoying because it's really just monthly mortgage payment, but they call it principal and interest. And what does this say? Monthly principal and interest payment. And the direction said determine the monthly principal and interest. So it kind of tells you what you should be using, right? Okay. Determine the monthly principal and interest payment for a 15-year mortgage for $85,000 with an APR of 4%. Determine the monthly principal and interest payment for a 15-year mortgage for $85,000 with an APR of 4%. So it's important how many years, how much is your mortgage for, like how much are you financing, and then what's your APR. Those are going to be all the different things that we need. Okay, now what color am I going to use? We'll go back and forth, I guess, between I guess we'll just do black and purple because that's what I did. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look at table. We're going to go to 15-year column and 4% row to locate per 1,000 cost. So year and percent, right? Year and percent. That's how you use the table. Year and percent. Okay, I'm going to kind of cover up some stuff so I can show this. So it told me 15 years, which is the 1, 2, third column. And then look at the 4% row, which if you consider that word rate as a row, 4% would be like that second one, right? So right here. So if I go to 15 years at 4%, those line up right at 7.39688. Okay, you don't round that or you don't do anything. You just keep it exactly the way it is. Okay, so let me go and write down what I found. Okay. Per thousand financed, the cost is 7.39688. What this is saying is the number of thousands that you're financing, we're getting charged $7.39688 basically to come up with what our mortgage is. Okay, So where'd my leg go? Now that we've looked at the year and looked at the percent and figure out what the cost is per thousands, the next step is to determine how many thousands are you financing. How many thousands are you financing? Y'all make sure you don't include your down payment with this step right here, because that's just a common mistake. Okay. So we need to determine how many thousands are you financing. Do not include down payment. When I look at this problem, it didn't tell me anything about down payment, but I just want to make this clear here, because in the next problem, there will be a down payment, and I don't want you to just jump ahead of yourself. Anytime you determine how many thousands there are, to use this table, it's the amount that you finance. It's your mortgage. It does not include your down payment. Okay, and this tells me mortgage for $85,000. So what I do is I take my $85,000. So of is multiply per is divide, right? If I try to figure out how many thousands exist in 85,000, I divide by 1,000. And you get 85. There are 85 $1,000 bills, you know what I mean, inside of 85,000. Okay, now next step. There's 85,000s, and I'm gonna get charged 7.39688 for every 1,000. So I need to multiply them together, and there you go. That's your monthly payment. Okay, so last step is to multiply the number of thousands by $7.39688. And hopefully it makes sense. This step right here, this is specific to this problem. Depending on the years and the APR, you could be somewhere else on this table. Whatever amount that is, that's what you multiply here by, okay? This one is specifically 15 years at 4%. Boom, that's my place. Like that's my spot. That's where I'm at. That's the dollar amount that I get charged per 1,000. Okay, how many thousands are there? Okay, now multiply them together. Okay, so if I do that, I have 85 thousands. For every single 1,000, I'm getting charged 7.39688. What is that amount? If you use your calculator, what you get is $628.73. And that is money. This is a payment. Therefore, our monthly payment is $628 and why did I do that? $628.73. So what would be like $85,000? Like a storage building, right? Behind, well, you're technically still making payments. It might not be like a home, but you have a building that you have a mortgage on for $85,000 at 4%. You're going to pay monthly $628.73. So locate the amount per 1,000, determine how many thousands there are, multiply the two together. That's your payment. Okay? And I mean, it's kind of steppy or whatever, like you got to do a couple of different things. And if there is a down payment, make sure you don't include it. But I think it is a little bit easier than the formula. which is what we're going to do next. Just that way you'll have like two different options. What's crazy is I'd never seen this until this morning. All I've ever done is that formula. So, and when I was like, oh my gosh, this is so much easier. As long as you don't mess up with that amount finance, like it's easier, it really is. Okay, so let's do that third problem. There's one of these on the test. It's actually the last one on the review. There's two on the review. I think there's two on the homework too. It's like an A, B, C part, okay? On the homework and on the test and on the review, it'll say a name. Like Jennifer bought a house for this much at this percent. In class, I kind of just throw the information out there, okay? Say we have a 25-year mortgage. With a selling, that sounds weird, selling price of $315,000. A 25-year mortgage with a selling price of $315,000. A 25% down payment at a 6% rate. And then it's A, B, C parts. For part A, it just wants us to determine what the down payment is, which is what we did on page 1. And then for part B, it wants to know our mortgage amount. And then for part C, it wants to know what the monthly payment is. This is why I'm going to take the time and like show you the formula, only because I just don't want you to make one little mistake using the table and you think it's correct. You could use the formula as like a backup. Okay, y'all. So down payment is what? We've got a 25-year mortgage, selling price, right? Selling price of $315,000, 25% down payment at a 6% rate. Down payment. It wants me to calculate what is 25% of 315,000. So the 25% as a decimal would actually be 0.25 of means multiply 315,000. 25%, that's like a quarter, right? They want a quarter of the selling price up front before you do anything else in order to actually mortgage or finance or make payments on the rest. So if you do in your calculator 0.25 times 315,000, you get 78,750. That's a lot of money, right? So up front, we need $78,750 as a down payment. And what they'll do is they'll take that off of the selling price, right? That difference, that's what we did on page 1. Like we described, like that's your mortgage. Selling price minus your down payment, that's what you ask the bank. Can I make payments on this? And like that's what they charge you interest on. So take out that down payment, like quite literally. Put your selling price, subtract your down payment, and that difference is your amount mortgaged. Okay, so I'm going to write this: selling price, subtract down payment, okay, that is your mortgage amount. my selling price, right? I'm buying the house for $315,000. But upfront, first, initially, I've already given the bank $78750. Take that out of the money I'm going to start making payments on. Don't keep it in there, because then it's literally you paying it more than once, right? So if you get your calculator and you do 315000 and you take out the down payment of 78750, the mortgage amount, what you start making payments on, is 236250. That's your mortgage amount. My camera's all crooked. I can't tell what to do with the page. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. So for the monthly payment, like I said, we're gonna do two different things here. I'm gonna scoop this up. Okay, we're gonna actually use the formula. Bless you. And then we're gonna do like the way with the table. Okay, so if we did the formula, so a monthly mortgage payment is like an installment plan, right? Every single month I make a payment. We've seen this before in 10.4, where it was M equals P times R over N, all over 1 minus open 1 plus R over N closed to the negative NT power. Okay, I'm going to write this here just because I wasn't for sure. M monthly payment P. So P has been principal, it's been amount financed. In this particular like 10.5 section, it is mortgage amount, but it's all the same thing, right? The principal is the initial amount that I start something. The amount mortgaged is the initial amount that I start my mortgage with. Okay, so amount mortgaged. I'm sorry, mortgage amount. I don't know why I said that word. Mortgage amount. R rate. In number of payments. T time. Y'all, it is a monthly payment. So how many of them do I make in 1 year? 12. Always. Unless they tell you otherwise, which they won't. But for a monthly mortgage payment, when you use the formula, N is always 12. Okay. So let me use this. Let me kind of come right here. Let me kind of work to the right. Okay. P, mortgage amount, 236,250. Open. Rate over N. N was our number of payments. It's monthly. So my N is 12. My rate, 6% as a decimal, is 0.06. And then in the denominator, it's 1 minus open 1 plus 0.06 over 12 closed to the negative N minus T. In number of payments, which is 12. T time, 25 years. Right there. So let me enter all this into my calculator, and then that gives me my monthly payment. Clear, clear, clear. Start with your N over D. Do 236,250. Open. N over D. 0.06 down. 12 over. Close. Go down. 1 minus open 1 plus. N over D, 0.06 down, 12 over close. And then you do the caret button to go up into the exponential field, kind of right there. And you do the negative, which is near your decimal. Don't do the subtraction. It'll tell you syntax error. Right, syntax, just like characters, basically a little calculator. I mean a little computer in our hands, and it's just saying that there's a character that's wrong. Actually, let me show you all that. So if you do the subtract symbol here, not the negative, but the subtract, and then 12 times 25, you'll get syntax error, which means one of your signs is wrong. So I would basically just go back home. With this particular calculator, you could grab the whole entire thing and go through and highlight all your signs and be like, okay, that should be a negative. And then this one right here, we know that the other, that's not a negative, that's a subtraction. And then when you hit enter, it'll tell you 15, 22, and 16 cents. That is your monthly payment at that rate for that many years with that amount mortgaged. $1,522.16, which is not that bad. Okay, so we have that way, right? Let's identify everything, know everything, convert the rate, put it into the formula, put it into your calculator correct, and then gives you, the answer. And I want to show y'all how the table way is a much shorter way, but you just can't mess up. I mean, obviously. Okay, table way, which just sounds weird, but that's fine. Okay, so the first thing I need to do, if I'm going to use this table, wouldn't I go to number of years 25, rate 6%, and then I get this certain amount. That amount I'm going to use. That amount is really important to me. I see it's the 6.44301. Okay. I know that, hold on. See, 25-year at 6% is 6.44301. How do I determine how many thousands are there? I divide the amount financed. I want to say the right words. I want to say we said amount financed. Okay. So what we wrote here was per thousand financed, the cost was this certain amount, right? And so by looking at 25 years and 6%, that's the amount financed. I'm sorry, that's the amount that we pay per thousands financed. So I need to figure out how many thousands are there. The common mistake is for a student to use 315,000 and divide that by 1,000. But that's not the amount that we financed, is it? We gave them a down payment. They took it out. The mortgage amount, that's what you finance. So you do two, here, let's write this. That way it's hopefully a little bit like just clearer. Mortgage amount, divide by 1,000. Is number of thousands financed. So what we do is 236,250 divided by 1,000 equals 236.25. For every single $1,000 that I am financing, they're going to make me pay $236.25 for every single one, right? Hold on, did I say that wrong? Yeah, I did say that wrong. Why did I say it like that? I feel like my eyes just kind of crossed there for a second and my brain got totally backwards. This is how many thousands there are, and what I'm going to do with that amount is multiply it by the 6.44301. This is what they're charging me, y'all. I just said they're charging me 236. Now that's how many thousands there are. Per every single 1,000, they're charging me 6.44301. So what I do is 236.25 times 6.44301 6.4301. Doing this gives me what my monthly payment is. And if you notice, if you do 236.25 times 6.44301, do you notice how I get 1522 and 16 cents? I got the exact same amount. So whether I go the formula route or I go the table route, you're going to get the same amount. As long as you do not make a mistake and right here, when you determine how many thousands there are, use the 315. Don't use the selling price divided by 1,000. Use the mortgage amount divided by 1,000. And so we get 15, 22, and 16 cents. Okay.